everybody out there in the internet and comic book world, and welcome to another Dark Avenger comic book review. Severely apologize for the lateness of this comic review. It is 2 days late instead of one due to scheduling issues. But anyway, we're back, and the books I'm reviewing, or we are reviewing in this episode, were released on October 17, 2012. This is the 155th Dark Avenger comic book review. 45 book reviews left to go. Books. Yes. 45 books left to go. Good, we're ready to go, man.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
45 more weeks, and we will be at the 200th comic book review, and that is, it's getting down. It's getting lower. It's getting lower. We're still in the 40s, though. I feel like I've been in the 40s forever, but yeah, we're still getting there. We're getting there. Yep. Every 2 months, I believe, it'll go down at 10, right? Because it's 4 weeks in
about, yeah.
8, about every 2.5 months. So
slowly but steadily.
Got a lot of books this week. And as far as really quick, a little news for the Dark Avenger Inc. First of all, the Zenoscope Advanced review is up. It was posted this morning. So you guys are interested in the books that are coming out this week, last week, and the week before from Zenoscope, go check that out. Also, my Dark Avenger Inc. in-depth reviews will be on books from this pile, as well as a couple of other books from Zenoscope and other companies that we work with. I'm just going to be doing it at a slow pace. I know it's already Wednesday when you're watching this. I'll probably be doing some tonight, right after the review, so there might be a few up Wednesday, but the bulk of my in-depth comic reviews are going to be up on Thursday and Friday, and maybe a few on Saturday. I'll probably have some stuff for Entertainment Fuse, that is Player Affinity now. I'll probably be posting a lot of, I'll be posting a few of my in-depth comic reviews from Inc. on there, so you guys can check that out. I am just so far behind on a lot of other work. I have something special that I'll be posting on Inc. as soon as I get an email back from a specific person. And also we have a possible special guest at some point on the live shows. But anyway, guys, really apologize. I'm a little bit back on my work. I had to cancel a few videos that I was going to do so that I could catch up to my work, but hopefully everything, God willing, please, will get back on track by this weekend. But the comic reviews will always be every week, no matter what. That's the main important thing for me. We have 2 indie books this week. First one is The Walking Dead 103. Oh my God, he's back. Negan is back. And I was hoping this issue would be like where he dies. It's not. Instead, it's basically him doing what he says he's doing to Rick instead. Rick does let Andrea in on his secret plan. Jesus is following the guy from the last issue and getting some intel there, but we don't see Jesus anymore from the first 2 pages. That's it. Carl's still pissed off at Rick for what he did, and basically after the events of this issue, I don't blame the entire community for being pissed off at Rick after what he did with Negan. I love the scene, especially with Carl, where he confronts Negan. He thinks he's this big guy, and you know, Negan's kind of huge, and he actually, Rick actually tells Carl to go away, and yeah. And Negan basically strips the place of all its important goods, the medical stuff. You can see here they're taking the beds and everything. They're taking half, he claims, of everything, but it's not exactly half. Rick's walking around carrying Lucille until Negan asks for it back, and he keeps bringing up how he killed Glenn, you know, and little things here and there. I'm surprised Rick let it go, and it just ends with him and his smug look, and he ends up leaving. I can't wait to see him die. Next to Cade Kilgore, Negan's up there on the top 5 people I look forward to seeing ended in comic books. There's also the Walking Dead magazine coming out next week. If you get a full year subscription, which is $47.99 US, $57.99 Canadian, you get a free Walking Dead t-shirt. Didn't know that. That would have been nice to know.
Oh, wow.
I didn't subscribe. It's also $15.99 in the UK. No idea what that exactly it equals up to $57.99 or $47.99 American Canadian. So I don't know if I'm gonna like the magazine. I didn't subscribe to it. However, I might get the first. I am getting the first magazine to see how good or bad the magazine is. You want to go fix that?
Oh yes.
And so anyway, back to Walking Dead. Really nice issue. I hate Negan. Can't wait to see him go bye-bye. So I would definitely say you should be reading. This is your jumping on point. They claim it's your jumping on point. However, if this is a jumping on point, it's kind of a hard jump. If you ask me, it's a weird jumping on point because if you don't know who Negan is or half the characters, this isn't the way they advertise this was it's jump on friendly, this issue. This is not jump on friendly. If you're a first time reader, you're not going to know who Negan is. You're not going to know any of the characters. You're just going to see some guy stealing from the community. Maybe next issue.
Unless they research about him before.
Then it's not jump on friendly. So maybe the next issue is jump on friendly, but this issue is not jump on friendly. Maybe it's taking a new turn, but people are going to read this and be like, who's Negan?
Negan?
See, this is why I don't really want him on these shows half the time.
Oh, that's really nice.
Negan, seriously.
Well, vegan, yeah.
There's
Vegan
something
is
in
a
your
word.
eyebrow.
Oh, it's probably.
I'm putting this out there because I did not order. I did, but I didn't order this cover. It was a mistake on my part, not Midtown Comics part. It was a mistake on my part. This is what you get when you rush an order. I got cover B instead of cover A, and I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. But this is Godstorm #1. Now, for those of you, don't even.
Godstorm #1.
Don't even criticize my mistake. I will kill you.
Was I criticizing a mistake?
This is the first ever hard copy book I've ever had. That's Zenescope, and I love Godstorm. It is an awesome series. I read issue 0. I was hooked. Especially with everything going on with all the conventions, I had to make sure I had my copy of #1. Regardless, and I'm glad I bought it because I love this issue. It was really good. Main character is Julian in this issue. You're not going to see that much of Zeus in this. He's only in on a 2-page spread. I was going to say in 2 panels. He's on this page and he's on the other page shadowed. That's it. That's the only time you see Zeus. We don't know who Julian is yet. I called him Jillian again, I think. But Julian is this guy, Tony's enforcer, so it's kind of like Mafia. You get the Mafia feel throughout this whole thing. And he's the muscle, Tony's the brains, apparently. And after really thinking about things, and there's a flashback to how Tony and Julian actually met, and where things went from there. And Julian just had it. He's like, he's questioning, especially after he's criticized and everything by Tony. He just gets out of the car and walks away. Not the car. He actually goes to a strip club, and he just can't take it. He wants to get out. He needs to think. He gets out. He gets jumped by a person that he was strong. He was being, he was protecting Tony against. The guy tries to kill him. It doesn't succeed, and this is a spoiler alert here, guys. He finally has like this. His powers finally manifest, and he's shocked. He doesn't know what he just did, and he's running for his life. He has no idea how that happened or how he did that, how he accessed his powers and where he got them or anything like that.
And this was written by Patrick Chan.
Pat Chan, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't know you saw me as someone beautiful, but yeah, go ahead.
I don't.
I'm not.
And I love And I love how it ends, and I'm sorry, actually Zeus is a little bit in the background over here.
Oh yeah.
It ends with, the war has begun at last. I can't wait for the next issue. This was really good.
I mean, the way he wrote that.
Let me put it this way. I'm not going to read off what the next issue is, but you can see who's going to be on the next issue, in the next issue.
Ah.
Neptune. I'm looking forward to it. Also, if you guys haven't been checking out certain books, Robin Hood is also a really awesome
check it
series.
out. It's amazing.
Sleepy Hollow also is coming out. It came out. It's really good. But Godstorm is my absolute favorite book. I love this issue. Focused on Julian. We don't know where the story's going. I can't wait for issue 2. Absolutely amazing. I would definitely say check it out. Just don't buy this cover. I feel so dumb for it.
It's very misleading too, you know.
It's supposed to be a.
Well, I know what it's supposed to mean.
Cover.
But
I
yeah.
wanted the Zeus cover, the cover A. I made a mistake.
Unless they're making it mythology.
They're not making nothing. I made a mistake.
Oh.
So anyway, Godstorm, 5 out of 5 stars, guys. Get issue 0, but then after getting issue 0, get issue 1. It's really good, especially for those of you people who like the little mafia feel thing. 2 books. One book I'm just going to throw out there is Minutemen issue 4. One of the 2 books left that I buy from before Watchmen. Just the series just except for the Minutemen and Night Owl, I don't have a real... I'm just leaving it alone because I like Watchmen and this miniseries, all these little miniseries.
So technically you just have nothing to say at all.
Not really, no. I love Minutemen. I would definitely say you should check this out. And I love Night Owl with the Kerberts. I would definitely say check that out. But other than that, none of the other series grabbed me. And I know Steven said that Dr. Manhattan wasn't that good. I gave up on the comedian. Ozymandias I dropped first.
I know, I remember that.
So, I'm done with... I'm really, a lot of books I've had it with DC, but whatever. This is an exception to that. He-Man, Masters, and the Masters of the Universe, issue 3. Merman's in this. It's basically, every issue's another villain of He-Man's. Merman versus He-Man, people. Without him being He-Man. And Merman has to be the dumbest of all the supervillains. He not only reveals to Adam that his name is really Prince Adam, he also blurts out the word He-Man. He says, He-Man, is finally over. It's time to, He-Man is dead once and for all, and I love how Adam's like never, and he actually kicks him. The artwork in this book's really good. Show another panel. Adam's still not He-Man though. He's still trying to figure out the truth, and Skeletor finally figures out that the power doesn't come from the actual sword. It comes from Castle Grayskull, and he wants oh God, why is the name escaping me for the moment? Where is it? Zora. He wants Zora to explain to him, wants her to unlock Castle Grayskull's secrets to him. She doesn't do it. Adam and Teela get attacked by Merman, as I said, and that's basically the bulk of this issue. It feels like Adam's just going through a gauntlet. In the ending, he's not actually walking away from the end in the end of this issue. To be continued. Yeah, basically it feels like each issue is just another gauntlet for Adam at gaining his memory back. I hope this becomes an ongoing. It still claims to be a miniseries only, and then when He-Man comes back, that's basically the end. I hope that they keep this as an ongoing. I really do, especially after the whole memory loss arc. It would be nice to see them move forward and continue the story into another arc and, keep going, but that's up to DC Comics, but I highly doubt they'll do that. But this issue is really good. I'm loving He-Man, Master of the Universe. Each book is a different gauntlet. I can't wait to see the next one. The next one's The Island of Doom. And I apologize if I'm rushing through these books. It's just I got a lot of work. But I'm giving you guys quality A1 comic review first. Green Lantern New Guardians issue 13. My God, the artwork in this was horrendous. Horrendous.
Really? How horrendous?
How horrendous?
What happened?
I don't know.
Who's the artist?
The artwork in this...
Did they change the artist?
I definitely think they did, because Atrocitus looks terrible also. Artist is Neil Ruffino and Pete Pantanzis. It switches back and forth with artists.
What did they do?
In this book, looking away from the artwork, it's Atrocitus trying to unlock the Red Rage and teach Kyle how to tap into the red part, the red ring, and towards the middle of the book he finally does. Horrible artwork and all. Because we all know Kyle can tap into each part of the spectrum. Right. So Carol actually enlists Atrocitus to get Kyle to tap into the red lantern, the red part of the spectrum, and he actually also taps into the blue once again towards the end. And then he goes back to Earth. And Atrocitus throughout the whole beginning was trying to not break Kyle, but get him to tap into his red lantern, the red part of the spectrum, and Carol kind of interferes, and he's like, you know what, you stay here, I'm taking him out. And also in this book, once again, the Third Army is growing. Yet another hint that the Third Army is growing. So he takes Kyle away, and that whole thing happens where he taps into the red, and then Kyle comes back to Earth just to tell Carol that, he tapped into the red. He's going to find Akrillo now and to learn to tap into the yellow. And yeah, once again it ends with the Third Army growing. Man, if the artwork was better, could I say this book was good. 3 out of 5 stars. Artwork killed this story by two whole stars. I don't know. All of a sudden, this story arc is starting to worry me because Green Lantern, I feel I mean, yes, it's a new Green Lantern, and yes, it's good for new readers because they can, you know, they can be reintroduced to the Green Lantern world through a new Green Lantern. And I don't know. Green Lantern Corps was pretty okay. Green Lantern Corps was pretty alright. And then this with the artwork, and this is kind of like Kyle Rayner figuring out how to tap into those parts of the spectrum that he never had to before. So it's interesting, but I don't know. I guess we'll see when the Third Army strikes, because we're in the issue 13. It's going to be it's going to be all the way through till issue 16. So I guess we'll see by issue 16.
It? By 16 they're done?
The Third Army's done.
Oh, the Third Army's done. Okay.
The Third Army story arc. Then we're going to see where we go from there. I have a feeling that the Guardians are going to somehow survive through this, and we're going to see where we go from there.
You know they're going to. I mean,
I know that we're not going to see Hal Jordan and Sinestro for at least a year. Bar none. It's going to be a year. Nightwing issue 13 was really good. I don't understand how they could say it. They didn't, which is nice. They didn't say it tied into the Death in the Family, but it does. The story arc actually begins, the comic actually begins with Nightwing talking about the Joker being back, and all of a sudden all the crime lords have disappeared. There's a lot of references to a couple of Batman issues, and everybody's gone. And Nightwing wants to know why. So he pays a visit to an old friend, or enemy, the Penguin. And Penguin says, it's not because the Joker's back, it's because somebody else is back, Lady Shiva. Also, to note, in this book, Nightwing can't get into contact with Bruce, and he can't get into contact with Alfred. So Alfred's missing because of what happened at the end of the last Batman 13, the last Batman issue, and Bruce is missing. We don't know where he is at the moment, but he's probably out stalking the Joker. There's a moment where if it goes to the next day where Dick is at the grounds to the new Haley Circus, just finishing up, you know, signing the paperwork and whatnot, and yeah, then it just jumps right back in. Batgirl makes an appearance, very nice, and Batgirl's just freaking out that the Joker's back. She wants to find him, she wants to end this, and he wants to hunt down the Joker and finish him off. And then she says, Nightwing, are you with me? And he's like, I'd like to help. He was going to explain that he's searching for Lady Shiva, but of course Barbara doesn't give him a chance, and she just jumps off, and she says, why bother? We know how this is going to end. So Nightwing's trying to get intel on where Lady Shiva is going to strike next. He figures it out, except Lady Shiva doesn't strike there. It turns out that it was a distraction. She's about 15-20 steps ahead of Dick. And it turns out the person that she was there to assassinate was somebody from earlier on in the book. That's why they actually showed Dick with Sonia talking about signing the final paperwork for the circus. It turns out she had to stop because she had she needed to prep with a bank audit for the SEC hearing. I don't know what that is, but yeah. And it basically ends with Nightwing figuring out that he was duped, and now he's on the look for Lady Shiva. Nice issue. I left out a lot because I am doing an in-depth review of this on Dark Avenger Inc. I have a huge amount of books in this pile that I'm going to be probably in-depthly reviewing. This is one of them. It's a really good book. Does it tie into Death in the Family? If you're not buying Nightwing and you want to buy him now because of Death in the Family, I wouldn't say you need this issue. However, Nightwing has been one of the stronger of the Batman books. I would definitely say you should check out Nightwing. This is Jump On friendly. If you didn't read issue 0, you didn't have to, but it gives you a background story to what's happening now in Nightwing before the Death in the Family story arc ties in with Nightwing. I'll leave it up to you guys, but this is definitely, and it's very hard to recommend anything from DC Comics lately, but I'm really enjoying Nightwing. Moving out of DC, moving out of the independents, we are now officially in Marvel, and there's a bunch of books from Marvel this week. Really quick, Dark Avengers 182. Sum it up like this. Thunderbolts come back from the dark future. Thunderbolts versus the Dark Avengers. Dark Avengers are the bad guys. Thunderbolts are the good guys. Need I say more? Good guys beat the bad guys. Here's where the Thunderbolts come back from the future. And the future not Nick Fury, the future Luke Cage sends them back to the future, to the past, to back from the future to the past to fix what the Dark Avengers are about to cause. And in the next story arc, the next comic, I'll explain how. But thanks to the Thunderbolts, Kane Marco is now the Juggernaut again. And thanks to the Thunderbolts and Juggernaut, they're able to stop the Dark Avengers, big surprise here, and save the day. And I feel bad because the people that were running the Dark Avengers didn't exactly make it out as well as everybody else has. They didn't survive this ordeal. Too bad. Next issue is Farewell. I don't know what to feel when it comes to this story, this comic book yet. It still feels like the Thunderbolts. It didn't lose the Thunderbolts yet. Now I understand next issue is called Farewell for a reason. The Thunderbolts are going to leave. But now you got to wonder, okay, Thunderbolts are going to leave after this story arc. What's going to happen next with the Dark Avengers? Is it going to be worth reading? Is it not going to be worth reading? Marvel Now's coming. Do I want to pick this story up? Do I want to pick these comics up? Or do I want to drop the Dark Avengers?
It might be good for all, you know.
I'm going to stick around for one more story arc to figure out if I want to keep the Thunderbolts or not. U.S. Agent's supposed to be coming on board, not the Thunderbolts, the Dark Avengers. U.S. Agent's supposed to be coming on board. Things are supposed to change. We'll see. So I will be coming back to check out the next story arc before I let this make or break the series. Do you need this? Absolutely not. This was basically the farewell issue to the farewell story arc to the Thunderbolts. They took out the Dark Avengers, who were the bad guys, even though this is their book. Although, looking back, the Dark Avengers were always the bad guys. So,
since day one.
technically, Dark Avengers never were good. So, we'll see what the next story arc has in store for the Dark Avengers. Is it really that late?
Yeah, it's good, but...
Next! With a variant cover I got, the Susie Coleman variant cover, Uncanny X-Men number 20. Final issue, once again, not even 20 months later, of Uncanny X-Men, the final issue. And everything wraps up here. AVX is over, so what are the consequences in Uncanny X-Men? Well, for one, Colossus loses, this is a huge spoiler thing here, guys. First of all, the person who's supposed to be the PR for the X-Men and all superheroes is Mr. Sinister now. Apparently, the Phoenix Cyclops didn't take care of the Mr. Sinister after all. Danger is left off wherever. I really don't even care about this character at this point anymore. But it turns out that magic cures Colossus and takes away the Juggernaut. So basically,
thank God.
Long story short, Colossus is no longer the Juggernaut anymore. He's back to being just Colossus. He has his hair back and everything. So the book basically ends with Mr. or woman Mr. Sinister saying, "You're in there, I'm out here, and no one else can stop me except you. So in your own good time, when you're ready." So basically, Cyclops, who's been wanting to die this whole time, and you'll see in AVX Consequences how much he wants to die, in this issue he finally realizes, yeah, he's got to get out. He's not ready to die yet. It's not over. That's exactly how it ends, with him saying this isn't over. And they actually add on to the all-new X-Men cover. I showed this on the live show.
Yeah, who's that guy at the back?
And we don't know who the guy in the back is yet, but basically it's not just going to interlock with Wolverine and the X-Men, but apparently Cyclops, Magneto, Magic, and Emma Frost, the part of Team Extinction, are going to be getting back together, and basically they're going to be the Renegade X-Men. For how long, we don't know. Why, I don't know.
I mean...
But apparently somehow, probably during AVX Consequences, Cyclops is going to break out, and we all saw it in All New X-Men number 1 already anyway. Cyclops is going to be running his little team, his tiny itty-bitty team, and he's going to be probably going after Mr. Sinister. Does that mean there's going to be another Uncanny X-Men comic? Of course there might be, but probably not till March.
We'll see.
Maybe February. We'll see. I doubt it because there's going to be way too many X-Men books then. But it's a possibility. Somehow we're going to have to follow a Cyclops, unless it's an all-new X-Men, like they'll split the story into Extinction and the X-Men from the past coming back to the future. Farewell to Uncanny X-Men for a long time, possibly. Everything was put together. There were a few questions towards Danger that weren't answered, but basically, for the most part, a lot of the loose ends were tied up. And Uncanny X-Men is officially over again. The Mighty Thor, issue 21, part 6 of 6, Everything Burns. Thor versus Suther. And Loki performs his last huge trick to get Odin to come back to Midgard one more time. Why? Because if Thor kills Suther, all the fire has to go somewhere. So they need help. They need a lot of help. And the help that they get is in the form of, as I said, Odin. Odin comes out of Solitude just in time for when Thor, of course, as we all figured, when Thor beat Suther, he directed all the flames and the fire away from Midgard and away from Asgard. And the All-Mother's not too happy, and she says there will be consequences for actually calling for Odin, but as Thor says, Asgard remains. So all is well because they won. And of course there is an ending part over here with, and this character is he's in a couple of books this week. It ends with Hellstrom in Loki's care, Loki and Leah's care, and he's talking about how Mephisto has the crown and he's looking to become the almighty king of all hell, and now it's up to Loki to stop them.
This page is funny. Like,
Yeah.
look at that. Like,
He's kind of like, damn, everything's coming back to haunt me after all. And he leaves Leah with Damian Hellstrom, and he basically says, I may be gone for some time. And it's all going to end in Journey into Mystery 645, but I really don't care for an epilogue. I'm fine. I'll be seeing Loki again anyway in Young Avengers.
Exactly.
So I'll see him there. But am I glad the story arc's over? Absolutely. I can't wait for the last issue of the Mighty Thor so we can get into the Marvel Now stuff. Some of these books, man, it just feels like they just grabbed whatever final story arc they could for the series and just said, let's print that. And Everything Burns. Do you need to read it? Absolutely not. Is it a major important thing to happen to Thor or Asgard or anybody that's involved with Thor? Absolutely not. You could skip it. I can understand why a lot of people are kind of...
What?
28 minutes, so go behind the camera.
Oh.
I understand how people kind of feel towards Thor, and I'm hoping that will change when Marvel Now takes over and Thor, God of Thunder, begins. Alright guys, we don't have that many books left, so come back to part 2 of this week's Dark Avenger Comic Book review. I doubt we'll go into a part 3, but if we do, we do. But not too many books left. Mike's book's actually up next, so you'll be able to see what book Mike's going to review. See you guys in the next part.